Season 3, Episode 20 of The X-Files is often hailed by fans as one of the best episodes. It has everything we want from The X-Files: government conspiracies, hypnosis, and of course, aliens. It also guest stars Jesse Ventura, Alex Trebek,
the game show host,
and Charles Nelson Riley.
That was when I realized something was weird.
It also has one of the best monologues ever delivered.
Yet you somehow brazenly declare, seeing is believing?
The episode has a writer named Jose Chung gathering various accounts of a single abduction incident to compile into a book called From Outer Space. The story has multiple narratives told from different characters' perspectives. This could be an example of the Rashomon effect, in which multiple characters see the same event, but they all have different interpretations or descriptions of said event. This is a very common storytelling tool in works of fiction. The Rashomon effect is closely associated with the unreliable narrator. And this episode has a lot of narrators, some of whom seem more reliable than others. It'll be a long and confusing video if I try to recount the episode from beginning to end, and also the sequence of events is less important than the individual narratives. So I'll just explain the cast of characters and what each one sees. Number 1, the agents. They don't really see anything too crazy. In most other episodes, they are witness to something extraordinary, unexplainable, or supernatural. In this, the strangest thing Mulder sees are the men in black and a mysterious pilot, none of whom can be verified by Scully. Number 2, the two teens. In the cold open, two teenagers are on a date. They're driving at night and see something strange in the road. They lose consciousness and are dragged away by two gray aliens. Next, they're both interviewed by police, and later the agents through the use of a hypnotherapist? Or is it a hypnotist? It's one of those. Named Dr. Fingers. That's what he's called in the credits, and... oof. Fingers. Uncomfortable. Their accounts are mostly the same, but the guy says he remembers being taken into a tiny cage-like prison inside the spaceship and seeing a gray alien talking and smoking a cigarette in another cage, which I think is unintentionally hilarious looking. Later, the girl is hypnotized again, but this time she says that she was also hypnotized by another hypnotist working for the Air Force who implanted false abduction memories in her mind. I told you it's confusing. Number 3. A guy named Rocky explains that he had an encounter with the same aliens the teens encountered, plus a third completely different monster Cyclops alien named Lord Kinboat, whom he claims actually took him into the Earth's molten core. Even Mulder has a tough time believing this.
He's a nut.
He also describes later being threatened in his garage by men in black. Number 4. A guy named Blaine who says he was walking through the woods one night when he stumbled on a dead gray alien. He calls the authorities and meets the agents and actually thinks they are men in black, and he says that Scully threatened him. There's a lot of threats in this episode. Later, he gets a visit from the real Men in Black. He recognizes one as Alex Trebek, and he smiles at him. It's so cute. You know he's a fan of Jeopardy. The one who looks like Jesse Ventura actually takes him down with a wrestling move, and it's so funny. I mean, I don't know if it's supposed to be funny, but I think most people would be honored to be taken down by Jesse the Body Ventura. Number 5, the pilot. Mulder sees him walking naked down the road near the crash site and gives him a lift to a diner. The pilot says that he and his co-pilot were hired by the government to dress up as aliens and fly around in an aircraft shaped like a UFO. And it was them who dragged the kids from their car before seeing a strange light in the sky from a real alien craft, which then abducted all 4 of them and maybe Rocky too? It's not really clear. Aside from the agents, I trust the pilot's account the most because his story has the most tangible proof. Crazily, his story actually confirms part of Rocky's story. He also explains that shady government people will use various techniques to obfuscate their involvement with aliens by confusing or discrediting witnesses by using hypnosis and staging abductions. Also, the pilot is clearly making a reference to Close Encounters of the Third Kind. I mean, look, he's carving a tower out of his potatoes. His story is also proven true when Scully attempts to autopsy the dead alien found by Blaine, and surprise, it's a dead human pilot. Number 6, the diner cook. This is a silly little side note that lightens the mood of an otherwise dark story. A cook working at the diner says that he never saw the pilot, but he did see Mulder. He said Mulder came in and ordered slice after slice of sweet potato pie while asking him weird personal questions. Before I dive in, I'm just gonna say that the handling of the teen stories is a weak point within the episode. I don't believe it properly handles the fact that a crime has clearly been committed on Chrissy, most likely by Harold. At first, the investigators make a big deal out of this, but then seem to lose interest in finding out the truth, and the episode waffles back and forth between whether or not the teens had consensual sex. You see, some parts of their stories can be explained by an abduction, but other parts can be explained by non-supernatural activities. For example, after the teen's supposed abduction, Chrissy has injuries consistent with an assault, and her clothes are on inside out. Harold has no injuries or inside-out clothes, but still claims to have been tortured by aliens. What's more likely to have happened? They were abducted, or he assaulted her. Could both things have happened on the same night? I think we're supposed to believe that both things happened on the same night. But if the teens were abducted, why were they not later visited by the men in black? Why did the boy not have any injuries? Why was no legal action taken against Harold? If Rocky was abducted, why did he return with no injuries or other evidence? These questions are left intentionally unanswered. The X-Files like to leave loose ends like this. I usually don't mind this when it's done well, since it's not meant as a murder mystery show or a police procedural, even if some episodes do fly closer to those formats. Final thoughts. Overall, this is an episode with a surprisingly low body count at 2, as the second pilot is also shown to be dead by the end. We're led to believe that he was actually killed by the government to cover up their involvement with the fake UFO. Everyone else basically gets a happy ending. The kids go back to school, Blaine gets a job, and Rocky moves to California to, I guess, start a religion based on what he witnessed. As a kid, I thought this was super sophisticated stuff, and I felt so adult for being able to watch and appreciate the intricacies of a show made for adults. As an adult, I still like it. It's a good, complicated story and is on many lists of the best X-Files episodes. And that's the thing about this show. When it's good, it's really, really good. When it's bad, you get space ghosts. Alien ghosts, Mars face ghosts. Ugh, please don't make me discuss that episode, it's just so bad. The character of Jose Chung does make a reappearance, again played by Charles Nelson Riley, on another show created by Chris Carter called Millennium. Weirdly, I have no memories whatsoever of this other show, but apparently it's pretty good, so let me know in the comments if you want me to discuss it here. And let me know what you think of this episode of The X-Files. Did you like it? Did you think it was too confusing? Does it count as an example of the Rashomon effect? Tell me your feelings in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe.